And a very special guest who's not going to be a guest for long because he's going to be, well, you already are a permanent fixture here. Time for Need to Know, and today we're welcoming our new colleague, meteorologist Kalin Mitchell.
Yeah,
Thanks
great
for
to be
being
here. No, thank you for having me on the show. I've been off for a little bit. I feel like I've got a little bit of a ring rust here, but you know, it's camera. I'm supposed to talk to the camera, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're right at home.
We thought we'd play, Kalin, this is your life. No, actually, we get to know you a little bit better. First of all, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Vancouver Island, BC, but I've worked in weather across the country.
Yeah, and what really got you interested? Do you remember what got you interested in
lightning?
Weather?
Absolutely. I was young, 10, 12 years old, watching lightning storms or thunderstorms over top of Georgia Strait between Vancouver Island and the mainland. That got me into science, and then science eventually took me back to weather.
Right. And you're kind of a weather nerd. We've been talking about
huge weather nerd. Huge weather nerd.
I said,
he just started. That wasn't very nice.
Well, no, I mean that.
I take that as a compliment, actually, Jason.
No, because I actually asked you a couple of days ago. I was like, well, what do you do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? And you actually said,
big time into weather.
It's all about the weather.
I mean, even outside of the office, a lot of times I got my head buried in the latest satellite or radar imagery. Absolutely, it's more than a job for me. It's definitely a hobby.
Yeah, hobby, lifestyle. And speaking of life, your kid, you've got a little boy.
Busy.
Yeah.
It's busy in the Mitchell household nowadays. That's right.
Yeah, tell us about your little guy.
Yeah, well, Lachlan, Locke for short. He's 2 years old. Hey, we got a picture of us out here on a nice day. Gets me out of the house a lot.
And that's Jill, your wife, too.
That's right. That's Jill. And there's a more recent picture of Lachlan, and
beautiful.
The T-shirt there is very apt. As soon as he hit 2, boy, that stubborn streak really kicked in.
I have one of those at home too.
Yeah, I bet so. And of course, if it is not Lachlan getting me out of the house, it is my 8-year-old border collie. This is Echo. And any border collie owners will know that, of course, you're heading outside no matter what the weather conditions are each day, because can't keep them cooped up in the house.
Looks just like my Charlie there.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk hockey with you just for a second, because you don't meet a lot of LA King fans around here, but you have a pretty good reason for being a Kings fan.
Stay up late to watch those games nowadays, that's for sure. That's right. My cousin Willie Mitchell played in the NHL, had a lengthy career. Here we go. Won 2 Stanley Cups with the Los Angeles Kings. I got to go to a Stanley Cup party, so they've got a little spot in my heart. I still have my Los Angeles Kings Willie Mitchell jersey. He finished his career with the Florida Panthers, but it was with LA.
He was a tough guy. You probably didn't tangle with cousin Willie a whole lot.
That's right. You know, they say we look alike, except if we're standing side by side. Then Will's like 6 foot.
Is he? All right. So you're starting on Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, May 8th. How you feeling?
Great. Excited. A little nervous, but good to go.
We're really excited too.
We're happy to have you aboard.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you and welcome.
I'm a hugger.
You're a hugger.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you.
All right, we've got more from the ECMAs coming up in the A-list, and here's another story we're working on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have some company here with me on the CTV News Desk tonight, and I couldn't be more pleased to welcome meteorologist Kalin Mitchell to the CTV News team. You know, we've been talking about you for so long that people were beginning to think that maybe you were not going to show up. It's great to have you.
I've been off for a little bit here, Steve, but thank you very much for the welcome. It's been all welcomes this week. I'm sure next week, though, it's going to be, hey, Kalin, when's nice weather going to be arriving?
Oh, yeah, you're going to be on the hot seat as soon as Tuesday, which is when we get your first forecast. But before we get to your job and your science, what about the 30-second Kalin bio? I mean, what do people really need to know about you? You're going to be with them every night now for the rest of time.
Yeah, I guess the headline for that's going to be West Coast to East Coast. Of course, an island boy, Vancouver Island, BC. Did my Bachelor of Science in Atmospheric Science from the University of British Columbia, and I've worked at weather institutions across the country since then, Weather Network, Environment Canada, and of course now at CTV, and worked across the country as well forecasting weather, but I really love the weather here in the Maritimes. It is certainly more than enough to keep a meteorologist on their toes.
And it is true that our weather here is more interesting than the weather in some places.
Oh, you bet. I mean, where else do you get the variation we see from season to season to season? You go from, of course, in the wintertime, the storm that we're known for, nor'easters, and then you get into the spring. You got to watch for things like the flooding situation, unfortunately going on in New Brunswick, thunderstorms, and then, of course, moving into the late summer and the fall. It's got the risk of a landfalling tropical storm or hurricane.
Right, so we get it all.
We do, except for dust storms. I haven't come across a dust storm
I guess
yet.
That's right. We have had tornadoes.
Yes,
we don't get the big ones.
Absolutely.
Thank God for that. Look, we're pretty proud of our long history of presenting professional meteorology. You've had a great career presenting it.
Yes.
Most recently on CBC radio and television. Many people will know your voice if they don't know your face. It sounds like a pretty good match. Your expertise and our commitment to
I'm certainly looking forward to that. A lot of great meteorologists here at CTV, so to get a chance to to make a contribution to that is something special and something you just can't ignore. But it's about the viewers, too. The viewers, this program's so great about communicating with us. This was kind of heartwarming for today. Received a welcome letter. Already, haven't done a forecast yet, but a welcome letter from Pearl and Clayton Dickinson from Coldstream, New Brunswick. It's near Heartland, of course, near a waterway, but I hope they haven't run into any issues. It's fantastic.
It's going to be the first of many letters, I'm sure. And we'll look forward to continue our partnership with our viewers on news and weather. And looking forward to your first forecast here Tuesday.
So am I.
And it is a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
On CTV. Kalin Mitchell, you're going to know him well, and you're going to say good things about him when the weather's good and good things about him when it's not. We're going to take a break. Back with more here. A really different run for
meteorologist Kalin Mitchell officially has his first day on air Tuesday on CTV Atlantic, but we wanted to introduce you to people this morning. Thanks for coming on, waking up early.
It's my pleasure, Kelly. Absolutely. And
although, you're used to getting up early with Lachlan.
That's right. I was supposed to say, you thought I was the new guy? Yeah. This is the new guy right here. So this is my son, Locke, 2 years old. So when I'm not busy with the weather, this is what's keeping me busy around the house and usually outside of the house because I got to get outside with this little guy. He's very active.
Well, and your beautiful wife is in studio too.
Yes.
Welcome.
She's on standby just in case we need a little Locke intervention here.
Right. No, but he's behaving himself. Okay, so you're both from BC, right?
Yes,
where are you from?
Originally Vancouver Island, so Nanaimo. I know you're familiar with the area.
Yes.
Yeah, and my wife is actually from the interior BC, from Revelstoke. So still got family back there, so family trips often involve a little bit of a long airplane flight off to the West Coast.
I know all about it. I bet you we know people in common. Vancouver
I'm sure
Island's
we do.
A small place.
It is. Yeah, I've made a few trips down to Victoria, certainly.
Yeah. Okay, so now we both end up on this coast.
Yes, West Coast, East Coast.
Yeah, and this is the best coast, frankly.
Definitely.
So what brought you here?
Like, we've had experiences with beaches on both coasts.
Yeah.
Beaches in the East Coast, much better.
Oh,
yeah, sand's way finer.
Yeah, but your career, you've won everything.
Yeah, it was basically my career that brought me across the country. I mean, I did my schooling back in BC at UBC Atmospheric Science, but then as a meteorologist over the course of 10+ years now, I've worked all across the country and for a variety of organizations, Weather Network, Environment Canada. So I've worked in Ontario and here in the Maritimes before. It's my second time in the Maritimes and even in Alberta. So I've forecast weather basically coast to coast to coast across the country, west, east, and north. Yeah.
And we have some pretty outstanding weather here. I mean, it's both beautiful, but also very powerful and dangerous, too. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like with nor'easters, for instance, that's one thing, you know, back home we don't have.
That's right.
So is it exciting for you to have such active weather?
It is. I mean, there's so much weather here in the Maritimes. It's more than enough to keep a meteorologist on their toes. Like you said, I mean, the big storm that we're known for in the wintertime is the nor'easters, and those are the ones that I blame for most of this kind of, how would my wife put it, Arctic blonde that I've started going on the side of my hair.
Go with the silver fox.
That's right. Filling out those snowfall forecasts in the wintertime. But then as we get into spring, you know, we've got to watch for things like, of course, the flooding situation, ongoing flooding situation in New Brunswick. We get into thunderstorms. Occasionally in the summertime, there's parts of the region that can get to droughts. And then, of course, in the late summer and fall, we always have to watch out for the possibility of a tropical storm or hurricane.
Right. So when you were little, did you always love weather?
You know, between 10 and 12, that's when I started to really get into it. I remember watching thunderstorms over top of the Georgia Strait. You know, Vancouver Island, thunderstorms weren't that common. You know, it's not like Southern Ontario or the prairies where they happen a lot. So I got fascinated by lightning. And then lightning took me into science. And then from there, eventually, as I went through high school and university, science took me back to meteorology.
Right, and then this job is just science with some makeup.
Oh, that's right, really. Exactly. That's
so
what it
really
is.
Fun.
Piece of cake.
Okay, we wanted to put you through your paces here.
Oh, here we go.
Some grilling questions.
This is the lightning round, right? How could I refuse something called lightning round?
Well, and again, it's very tough.
I know.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. Oh. High five.
Yes.
Got an 8-year-old.
Sorry, Vicky, our director. I know.
I have an 8-year-old border collie Echo. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I'm not out with Locke, I'm out with the dog.
Okay. Burgers or pizza?
Ooh, pizza.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Rain or snow?
Oh, snow if I don't have to drive in it.
Or shovel, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't mind shoveling.
Oh, okay. I'll give you my address later. Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Ooh, Star Trek.
May the 4th be with you. May 4th today.
There you go.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay.
Lots of it.
All right.
Need it.
Favorite season?
Fall.
Oh, good pick.
Yeah, I love fall.
Sorry, I feel like this is me judging you. I don't mean that to do that.
And we have great falls in the Maritimes, too. Like, sometimes our weather in the Maritimes, September, October, just fantastic.
Yeah. Cabot Trail, you've done that, obviously, this fall.
Yes, I have.
Beautiful. Favorite ice cream?
Strawberry.
Priya has a flavor you might want to try.
What's that?
She'll tell you that later. It involves processed meat.
Did I hear something about lobster ice cream earlier?
Yeah, that was Steele's favorite, I think.
That is one I have not tried as well.
Any phobias?
Ooh, deep water.
Me too.
Yeah, it spooks me.
Yeah. Hidden talent.
Hidden talent. Jeez. Pretty good at pretty much any sort of board game. So if we ever have a board game competition, I'm a terror to face across the table.
Okay, you'll be on my team when we do that.
There we go.
Kalin, welcome to the team.
Thanks very much.
We are
Thanks
so
for
happy
having
to
me,
have you and bring your beautiful family in this morning. We'll be seeing you on air on Tuesday.
You bet.